Wow. Just experimenting here. Oh, it's back to our weekly update. I missed the boat last week. We had some technical issues that even delayed me finishing up this lesson. Still, it's just around the corner. But today it's Friday, May 11th, and we are hopefully back on track for like an update. And the first thing I want to talk about, and what was going on right there, was brand new strings on my guitar. Put them on last night and didn't really touch them till like 5 minutes ago, just to get them in tune. And I thought, you know, this is going to be a little bit of an experiment. I have been a pretty much die-hard D'Addario fan for many years, using their phosphor bronze strings. And then about a few months ago, maybe about a month ago, I heard that Santa Cruz Guitar Company was pushing a line of strings. They called them parabolic tension. They're not sold high in like light gauge or medium gauge. They're sold in low tension and medium tension. I thought, okay, this could be really interesting, and I wonder what the heck Richard's up to. Richard Hoover, old friend of mine who runs Santa Cruz Guitar. We kind of we were budding musicians and guitar builders coming up together in the 70s. And anyway, and as many of you might know, I have my other guitar over there. I'll break it out this week because I'm going to put a set of these on that too and see what I think. But they came out with, so I called Richard last week for a couple of other things. One is I wanted to, well, mostly I wanted to try out their strings. So he sent me a couple sets. This is what they look like. Santa Cruz, let me see if I can get my fingers out of the way there. Get it a little closer, okay? And called parabolic tension strings. And the strategy is the gauges, they've messed around with the materials and the gauges of the center core and the wrapping core to tweak the tension so that it's more consistent from string to string. That also means, though, that some of the strings are not like 0.026. It might be 0.02635 in terms of diameter. So it's a little confusing. Where I'm getting to, what I'm getting at, I guess, is this is the first I just played them for the first time and really liked the sound. But what I was doing there in the beginning was just listening to each string, how they sound blended one at a time. We're going to be having tuning issues, of course, right here because. So I played a few chords, and then anyway, something just materialized that we'll have to call the Santa Cruz String Saga. But boy, I really like the sound of them, and the feel is really interesting. They feel a little more supple than the strings I was used to. Now I'll have to do some more research here too, and we might try it. I'll talk to Richard about maybe some kind of special deal we can offer Totally Guitars members to try out the strings. They are a bit on the expensive side, I think. Luckily, I haven't had to buy any yet, but I think it may turn out that it's worth it. Anyway, what has been going on here at Santa Cruz this week? I finally got to started on this one. If we could do this, let me think about this. Well, anyway, I'm still in the midst of finishing up that lesson that will have a little bit of what Dave does in there. It was something like that. I have to hit up Dave to help me out with that, maybe. So got to time passages. Got a few other lessons from Vanessa. One last week. Time. I got Al on the brain. our Sha-Na-Na lesson, those magic changes, and one this week, another Commodore's lesson. Still had some interesting things from Max. It was a how to solo over dominant chords. And then, oh, I should have tried to play this. I can't put it in my head right now. Herbie Hancock, really interesting, you know, brilliant keyboard player who's been around for a long time now, since the early '60s, but had some great tunes. And what Max's take on Cantaloupe Island was really cool. I hope some of you have had a chance to check it out. So what else did we have? Oh, a couple of little off the wall things. I hope it didn't seem too self-indulgent to pop up the video of Rebecca at Jim Bruno's. That was one of those things that I just, I was there that night, played a little bit, backed up a couple of students. Oh, one of them was on, this was really cool. It was, one of Jim's students wanted to perform Everybody's Talking, but it's a bit challenging on the guitar. It's just fast. Something like that. I think I have a lesson on. Of course, I have a lesson on it because I had to go listen to it to remind myself how to play it for his student who was singing it, who did a great job. Danny was his name, by the way. Anyway, and then Rebecca showed up, and I, just to kind of listen because the place is actually very close to where she lives. So she wandered in, and Jim recognized her and put her on stage. And anyway, really proud of that kid, and my other two as well. Okay, enough delving into the personal stories. And then Sandy is still working on Landslide, and this lesson turned into a little bit of theory on, well, first of all, some theory stuff, but also into how to work on creating a solo from a song. Hers is eventually going to come out something like this, I think. Maybe not. I don't think we're going to try that second part. But that's not, that actually kind of was, well, sort of fun. Okay, enough more self-indulgence. I really had a couple of main important things I want to talk about. Oh, one of them is camp, still coming up. We're getting really excited about it. A couple more people have signed up. Carol in particular, welcome back to the fold. This is somebody who'd been here last year and was not sure she could make it back. So things worked out for her, and really excited that Carol, you've probably seen some of the videos of Carol playing some pretty cool classical stuff. She's did some things in the busking channel, I think, shortly after camp last year. And anyway, oh, and also for campers, we have finally tracked down all the video that Larry shot, and pretty soon, hopefully within the next few days, all of the classes that we did, the songwriting class, the performance workshop, even the conversation with Ed Claxton, will all be up and available for everybody to relive. And one thing, we have this massive library of stuff from 5 years of camps, and anybody who's thinking of coming to the camp should, well, you got to know, first of all, that you'll have access to everything. Al Stewart's workshop, Muriel Anderson's, Alex DeGrassi's, Steve Palazzo's, for those of you who remember who Steve is. And anyway, and everything that Dave Nachmanoff ever did, from the songwriting stuff to the performance workshops to, well, okay, all right, enough about camp for now, but thanks for, really excited that we've finally got, Larry finished all this stuff. Sometimes it doesn't happen until the next year that he finishes some of the video from the previous one. Very cool things on the forum. It was really neat to see Bob and his buddies just jamming, it was a straight 12-bar blues thing, as I recall, but it was, you know, just sort of like that. And John got a fabulous rendition of "In My Life." I'd forgotten what a cool, well, I don't know, what a great instrumental that makes. And really, I know how much work you had to go to get that down. It's a big challenge. So congratulations on a job well done. Craig. Great job putting this together. Let me think about this. Well, there was a couple things I wanted to tell you. When you played that lead in there, this was great. The bend. This is really hard on acoustic guitar, but man, I wonder if that string. I'm gonna have to break out my micrometer. Normally, in a normal set of light gauge strings, medium strings, I'd have a 17 there, and this feels easier to bend. I'm guessing it's a 16. But if you could, on that bend in there, if you could get a little bit higher. Important, bending a note a whole step on an acoustic guitar is really hard. Well, on the third string, it's impossible, but you can get away with it on the B and the E strings. So if you can get that A to the B bend a little bit higher, get that pitch in your head. New strings, start bending them. Brilliant. What are you thinking? Anyway, best technique for bends. I've talked about this in all kinds of places, but this would be a good place to remind people. 3 fingers, all at individual frets, really close to the frets, especially your third finger. Make sure the finger that's doing the bend is touching the fret to get as much leverage as you can. And then use all of them. You got to use the strength of all 3 fingers. If I try to do that with only my third finger, that's as far as I can go before it hurts. A little vibrato can be nice on a steel string guitar. And you can even bend up and back to that last note. I'm not sure if you did or not. When it gets to the other part, so that's something you can add in there. Not too bad. Next thing, great job on the melody. And what I want to just bring in here was some little embellishments and flourishes like what I just did there. Instead of just this, that's, you're getting the melody very tight, meaning it's not loose and doesn't flow as much as if you add in some of the things I did the first time. Like this open B, I don't like the tone of the open B string as part of a melody. And what I ended up doing, you might have noticed there, probably did, I played the whole melody on one string. With a little slide into the first B. Then I even slid the B from the C. Instead of just this, you could hammer it on or pull it off. What I did was slid the B to the C and then came back, and then from this A slid all the way up to D. Find the note. Forget it, Neil. Oh, that open note. Open notes just you don't have the control over an open note as you do. You hear these little slides I'm doing to notes? Little vibrato. Sliding to notes and little vibrato on them really makes it smooth and much more legato than you can get by hitting every note, and especially using the second string open has such a different tone. Tinny, whiny. Now there are a lot of times, here's another example. That beginning part, that all sounds pretty good. But if I played that same melody, in other words, in this case I like the tone of the second string up high, the same thing on the first string, thinner. Now here we have to go high anyway. Those high notes are going to sound okay and a little more consistent with the notes on the B string. So by deciding what strings you want to hit things on, you can get a little bit more consistent tone from note to note that would be more similar to what would be happening if you were singing it, because the tone of each note is going to be closer to the same. So experiment with that a little bit. Try to embellish the melody with some slides and vibrato and decorate it a little bit. Anyway, hope that helps, and again, it was a real treat to see that, especially the whole going through the technical stuff of the picture-in-picture and things. So, congratulations, and guys, let's get some uploads into the student review thing. I'm kind of chomping at the bit to get back to my life as a teacher. That's it. See you next week.